All right, welcome back. We are back with another episode of the Kids on the Pitch podcast, back to back. We did have Jordan Wigan from Pine Richland on. Hope you had a chance to listen to that. Now we're going to bring on Carlo Prati from Fox Chapel, the head coach there. The girls surprised everybody a couple years ago, won the Class 4A title in girls soccer in the WPIAL. But then last year, they ran into the buzzsaw that is South Fayette and Fox Chapel girls. South Fayette are the top two teams seeded in Class 3A this year. It's going to be very competitive. This is a loaded bracket. This is Fox Chapel this year just looks really, really good this year. But South Fayette has as well. The two teams they're still competing. And then you've got Moon Township, Bill Pepper. It's a great, great program. Not too many losses there. They're right in the mix as well. So this should be a great bracket to see. We have before we get Carlo on here, I could briefly and obviously visit Pittsburgh Soccer Now. We have all the brackets laid out. We'll have the schedules. We'll have all the information leading up to. And then after matches, we'll get reaction, we'll get the results out there. And of course, it'll all be leading up to Highmark Stadium for the 3 days. The Thursday starts off October 30th and 31st on Friday. Those will be two games, the 2 weeknights, and then should be four on Saturday, which is November 1st. The only interesting thing about that, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds are still in contention, could potentially be hosting a home playoff match. That would be probably on November 1st. So if that happens, did happen a number of years back. I think it was 2019, I think, where the WPIL then kind of adjusted on the fly. I think they moved one game off of the Saturday schedule. So that still made time for the turnover between the last high school game and then a potential Riverhounds game. But I'm sure that the Highmark Stadium officials, WPIAL officials are always thinking a few steps ahead and have a game plan for that. So we'll be looking forward to potentially seeing how that plays out. But first and foremost, the playoffs kicking off, girls AAA. I want to talk about AAA here. We got Fox Chapel first. Second is South Fayette. Fox Chapel, it's a full 16-team field. So here, the way it's set up is Fox Chapel will host Laurel Highlands, who got in as the 16 seed. And all of their matches will be on Monday night, October 20th. So Monday, October 20th, Fox Chapel takes on Laurel Highlands. Let's just go through the bracket real quick. You've got Thomas Jefferson will be taking on West Allegheny. That's a really great 8-9 matchup. The winner of that's going to get the Fox Chapel Laurel Highlands winner. So that's a pretty good matchup there. And then, of course, you get down below. Thomas Jefferson finished second in their section. And then, of course, to South Fayette. So I think there are only a couple losses were to South Fayette in section. Of course, West Allegheny, they're competing too in a very, very tough section. Have to face Moon and those teams. So yeah. So then you have the bottom side of that bracket will include number 4 Plum. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. At least for Plum girls soccer, they get to the final a bunch of times in the last decade. I think at one point 3 times in a row. And so, but they're always in the mix, and I give them credit. They're right there. They've earned a 4 seed. They'll take on Chartiers Valley, the 13 seed. Then Mars is the 5 seed. So the 4-5 potential matchup there is Plum against Mars. Wow, that'd be great to see that happen. And of course, Mars has to get past Kiski area in the 5-12. There's always a 5-12 upset, just like in the NCAA tournament, March Madness. So we'll be watching the 8 brackets to see which 5-12 shakes out that way. And then on the other side, are the defending 2-time champion South Fayette. They, again, Fox Chapel, South Fayette, they know each other very well. And so Fox Chapel gets the 1 seed I think the committee, there's a lot of factors. We just talked about head to head in on the girls' side, Norwin and Pine Richland. When we spoke with Jordan Riggin, Pine Richland defeated Norwin 1-0 early in the season. Norwin still got the 3 seed. Pine Richland got the 4 seeds. But in this case, Fox Chapel and South Fayette, I thought they had played each other earlier this year, but it does not look like they did. I, for some reason, was mistaken. But yeah, no. So without that being the case, you're just going to go by results. You're going to go by common opponents, things like that. And so it probably was so razor thin, the difference there of who was going to get in and who wasn't. So interesting. And hopefully we'll get Carlo's perspective on that. And then we're going to wrap up through the bracket real quick. I just want to do this, and then we'll jump into our interview with Carlo. Of course, then you have so South Fayette will have to place Elizabeth forward, and Montour takes it got the 7 seed, and they're always like neck and neck with Moon, but they're the 7 seed here. And then of course they'll take on Hampton, and then Moon gets the 3rd seed, and they'll take on Oakland Catholic. And then at the bottom there, number 6 seed is Franklin Regional, who will take on Shaler. So that's how it all breaks out. But let's bring Carlo on because he's about ready to join me, and we'll get his perspectives as well because girls 3A should be a battle, should be a great tournament. All right, we're back with Carlo, Fox Chapel, my own kids' alma mater, the Foxes. Carlo, you've represented Fox Chapel really well. I mean, the 4A title a couple of years ago, of course, yeah, last year's team was tremendous. This year's team's is they've got their work cut out to
Yeah.
keep that standard going. But you guys
Yep.
have done a great job over there.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. The 4A title was something I don't think will ever be topped in my book, but we'll see. Yeah, that was a good group, and just being not even on the radar and just taking out number 3, 2, and then 1 was just a special thing. And then last year, yeah, we lost in the final, and it was a tough day to have an off day. But yeah, but South Fayette, you can't. I mean, they're so good, so we can't complain too much about it. But yeah, this team this year it's a little bit different. It's kind of like a rebuilding year for us. We lost 6 starters from last year, so coming into the season, we knew we had a lot of holes to fill, and so far, so good. We're kind of chipping away at it, and we're just taking it one game at a time.
Well, I don't think in quad A, Jordan and I were talking about this in quad A, you really can't take days off. But with girls 3A and boys 3A, I just think it's so deep. It's
Yep.
just it, especially when you get to the top 10, top 12
Yep.
teams. And you look at this bracket. I mean, I can't imagine the committee and myself doing projections.
Yeah.
The it 3A was always the one where I really struggled, especially in the middle of the
Yeah.
brackets. But
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on how everything went today with the seedings?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be us and South Fayette. It was going to be 1 and 2. I kind of figured that was going to be the case, and I don't think 1 or 2. It doesn't really matter. I don't think for either of us. But yeah, there's no teams that you're like, oh, I really want to play that team. There's literally none of those in 3A. I feel like in 4A it was like the top 4 teams every year that are going to be there. In 3A, it's anybody's match any day of the week. That's why I try to schedule for us at Fox Chapel. If you look at our
Yeah.
section, our schedule, we scheduled NA, we scheduled Norwin, we scheduled Seneca, we scheduled Peters. So I try to make it as tough as possible during the season because in the playoffs, it's going to be just as good as those 4A schools. And yeah, you can't take any days off. So we try to keep the competitiveness as high as we can for our girls. And it's like, hey, we're not here to just win games and just coast through the season. So that's the big thing. And I know looking at when the seedings came out, I was looking at all these matchups, and I'm like, man, there's some really good matchups coming up in the first round that literally anybody can win on a lot of these. So I'm excited to see what happens.
You mentioned you had six new six, you had to replace six seniors that left
Yeah,
that graduated. Um, those that's the norm in any
yeah,
scholastic sports and even the collegiate league on some level. But still, to have a team that's practically undefeated most of the previous season, won WPIAL district championship 2 years before that, to have to replace that many players.
yeah,
And then early in the season, Shaler and Shady Side Academy and some of these matches, I think were in North Allegheny and Mars were good tests before you played Mars
yeah.
conference, were good tests. Did you really need those those early season to kind of get things where you wanted it?
Yeah, so we had a lot of big holes to fill from girls that started all 4 years. So that was the biggest thing for us coming into the season. Who's going to play center back? Who's going to play left back? Who's going to play right back? And so that was the big thing for us. And just like starting the season with Shady Side, which it's always a game for us because it's the rivalry between the schools.
I'm
And
very familiar with that rivalry.
yeah, so it's always a game, even if
Hmm.
you're like, and on paper we're better than them or they're better than us. It always ends up
Yeah.
being a one goal game of some sort. So there's no really like sitting back and just coasting like I always tell the girls you can't coast. But yeah, I mean Shaler this year took us both games really like the second game they were up 2-0 on us, and then we ended up coming back. Mars is always good. Hampton, another one, a really young team. They're fast, they're aggressive. I mean, our section this year has been one of the games, every single game of the section play this year. There's no coasting. It's a playoff atmosphere every single time, and that's what I keep telling the girls. Like all these games are going to build us to hopefully click at the right moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these matches. Hampton's going to play Montour,
Yeah,
and Shaler's going to play Franklin Regional. Those are not going to be easy matches for those
yeah,
teams,
no,
and
not at all.
um, for sure. And you get Mars is kind of on your side there. Like if you do
Yeah,
get, I mean, you want to go one match at a time, but
yeah, yeah,
we're facing Blair in the playoffs is is
yeah.
is is not fun, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I would prefer not to play Mars again, but hey, well, we're gonna take it one game at a time.
What would you say is some of the strengths of the Fox Chapel team this year? What were your team's strengths?
I thought we did a really good job of just kind of playing our own style this year. I know the last couple years we had such speedy girls on the wings that we were very wing heavy. This year, I think they're just moving it around, and we're not kind of Emily McKee is scoring a ton of goals, yes, but we're
Yeah.
not obviously just giving it to her and hoping for the best on a lot of them. And Emily's kind of moving her game into a little bit of more of just receiving it, dropping it off, and feeding other people, which has been great to see. So I think we're kind of a blend of, yeah, we're still a little bit speedy, but not as speedy as the past. So we've got to really, communicate and move the ball as much as we can rather than work on the wings and speed.
Well, and controlling tempo is
Yeah,
really
yeah,
important. If you can get on the front foot, but also
yeah.
have the ability to kind of change direction or just let the other team do a lot of the running, right?
Yeah, and then a lot of times like this year, there's been a bunch of games that we've been down early and they've just fought and back and come back. So that's another big, I think, strength from our team. We've been down a lot of games, starting off really slow and then kind of picking it up after that. But hopefully, hopefully I keep warning the girls, you can't do that in the playoffs. It's a different story.
Well, and talking to Jordan too earlier about belief, how
Yeah,
important is that when you're in a 0-0 match or 1-1 or that North Allegheny final like
yeah,
a couple of years ago
yeah,
it felt like one of those matches where
yeah,
the longer you guys were there was
yeah.
more and more belief, and in playoffs that's something that's really matters, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can still remember that year we played NA both times in the regular season. They beat us by one, and both of those games we were leading, and they came back and beat us. and then we ended up scrimmaging them before the playoffs even started at their place, and we played that like 40 minutes of just varsity only, and we were winning 1-0, and you could tell something changed in that atmosphere there, that we were like, okay, we can actually maybe take them. So we were hoping we can get to them in the final. It ended up working out. But yeah, that's the big thing too. Like I've been telling the girls all year, like we lost to NA 1-1, 1-0. We beat Seneca, a really good Seneca team, 3-2. And then Monday night we beat Peters 3-2 in overtime. And that was a game that we had chances, they had chances, but we were down 2-1 with less than a minute left, and we put one in going to overtime, and then we pulled it off in overtime. So I just keep telling the girls, like, you're keeping up with the biggest 4A schools. We're playing 4 out of the top 5 that have been ranked all year long. So yeah, so I just keep telling them you can hang with anybody as long as you guys put the work in here.
One of the questions I've been asking in the coach's corner, the last one that we put out, was about sleepers, about
Yeah,
teams that could sneak up on you. We talked about, all the first place teams, and,
yeah,
in those middle brackets where we've struggled to place teams. You know, you've seen enough, I think, that you
yeah,
can sort of maybe point out which teams could potentially sneak up there and make a
yeah,
run. It's always hard in 3A to get there,
yeah.
but you have any that stick out?
Out of the, like when I was looking at the matchups, I really like Shaler. Shaler's a very sneaky team with Zotter up top. They're not very flashy of a team, but they do what they do really well. Like she's quick, she's aggressive, and it just takes one little moment of your defenders making a mistake, and she's literally on it into the back of the net. So I think Shaler's a big sleeper. Just from the teams that we've played, I mean, Moon's going to be really good and all them. But I think Hampton's another really big sleeper. They're very young. The first time
Hmm.
we played them, the atmosphere at Hampton, and like they have a good crowd that comes to their games, even away. They're young. They just go. They kind of remind me of our team when we won the WPIAL. Of just they're just so young that they run and run and run, and they don't think about what the pressure is. They just go. So I think Shaler and Hampton are going to be, I think, the two sleepers that I don't think a lot of teams are going to want to play them.
All right, we'll be looking out for that. In terms of this your own team and the buy and having this, the training. I'm sure. Oh no, there is no buy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
I
buy
feel like
for
I'm
us.
talking
Yeah,
to a 4A coach,
no,
but
yeah,
no. I mean, the approach of the format for the playoffs, but in this case, it's a 16 team free for all. Everybody
yeah,
plays.
yep.
Just your thoughts on that. What your approach is with your group and training and preparing.
Yeah, so tonight we play Norwin. I'm not sure
Hmm.
how much the starters are going to get tonight, just because of we can't afford any injuries. So we'll probably have the starters start for a little bit and then probably pull a lot of them. But yeah, it's a quick turnaround. You figure we're already Wednesday in, and we play Monday, so we're most likely going to go Thursday and Friday possibly, and then Sunday for sure. We usually try to do a before the game kind of run through. And then just kind of have a film session for sure of just what to expect from Laurel Highlands. And I have never played them, but like I keep telling the girls, whoever makes the playoffs, it's you can't take anybody lightly. The 60, like it doesn't matter. I don't even look at the
Hmm.
rankings at that point. It's whoever shows up that given night. So yeah, we're gonna have to really just take one game at a time and just prepare the girls as much as we can.
Any just thoughts generally about the playoffs and the playoff format at the high school level, at this level in Pennsylvania and within the district, but also beyond?
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I would like to see would be just I think all 4 teams that make the semis should be going to states. I think especially for 4A. I mean for 3A. That's my biggest thing. I think like the teams that get to the semifinal, it would be great for them to represent the WPIAL. So
Well,
that's my number
that
one. Yeah,
play-in game too, right? It's
yeah,
always tough.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
tough. Like
yeah,
I don't know if it's you have to play if you played on a Monday or a Tuesday, then you
yeah,
got to turn around and play on a Wednesday or a
yeah,
Thursday.
yeah, yeah. I agree. That's
Yeah.
my only
So
big one. So that's
Yeah, it's tough. In fact, when I was coaching at Shadyside years
Yeah,
back, we we had a really great team. We lost a tough semifinal match to West A, and we had to turn around 2 days later and go play South Park
yeah,
at Chartiers, and it was like
yeah,
it was a it was a
yeah, yeah,
shootout. It
yeah,
came down to a shootout,
yeah.
and
When
it's just
and
tough.
it's tough too. Yeah, and it's tough too because then you just lose in the semifinal, and then so your emotions are already like oh no, and then you got to hurry up and pick yourself up to try to get a win to get moving on. So it's kind of it's a tough call there.
Yeah, plus it's more games for us to keep track of, and I
Yeah,
it's like, come on, less
yeah,
games, not more
yeah,
at that point in
yeah,
the season. So, all right,
yeah.
well, Carlo, I really appreciate your time, and good luck for the Foxes and your team, and we'll be watching you closely through the playoffs.
All right, thank you. I've been enjoying all the stuff that you do too. So keep up the great work.
All right, thanks so much, and appreciate it. We'll be
All right,
talking to you soon.
all right. We'll see you.
All right, take
Bye.
care. All right, that was Carlo Prati, Box Chapel girls coach. As you can tell, there's a real good positive vibes and energy coming from Coach Prati. That the girls at Fox Chapel certainly respond in a positive way to his coaching. And well, we'll see. It'll see. 3A is going to be should be, we'll see. One round at a time. So first comes Monday. They'll kick it off and they'll get going. So look on Pittsburgh Soccer Now. We will have all of the brackets are already up. We'll have more previewing and featuring and the schedules on a daily basis, and then our daily blog, if you will, our daily thread where we'll put in the updates and all social media updates, things like that, and follow all of our social media platforms as well. We are on Twitter, we are X, whatever you want to call that. We are Facebook, and we have some Instagram. We're doing some stuff with Instagram. So look forward to that. And we'll be signing off now. All right. So it's been great again to have Carlo on the podcast, and we'll be talking soon here on Kids on the Pitch podcast.